you've got the proper equipment, you can get jobs done.
We've been out here since, what, we've been out here for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Cutting grass.
I want the guys to know this changes everything.
This our city, it's our town, and this is how we're gonna turn it around. Plant the seeds and watch it grow for our community and economy, our destiny and family.
Me and Dream, we all about our dream. Yeah. We love making money and we love raking leaves. You might catch us picking weeds just to keep our farm clean. Thanks Mr. and Mrs. King for the opportunity. Yeah. Wait, ain't a flake cause I can't read my rake. I was taught how to use it. Ki karate, my hoe sharper than a thorn, tighter than a ball of yarn. But I don't mean no harm, just wanna work on my farm. We more than just workers, we all best friends. We all own our own farms. If we all had the chance, that's the plan. I said every word I meant. And shout out to MSU cause we all kings of Flint.
It's our time.
I've tried to beat you up every day. That's what I do well. That move ain't fast enough. And you guys kept coming back. That's all I got to say to you. You will have a job. But remember, you got to work. You got to make the boss happy. Cole, is that good, Captain?
Yes, sir.
We're 20 and 30 years behind on so many things. So we just haven't made the kind of progress that we need to. There hasn't been good planning. There's been a lot of just managing decline.
I was a young fella growing up here in Flint. Flint was a very viable community.
1970, at the peak of General Motors employment, when this city was so packed full of people, you couldn't even find a place to park until the person who worked your shift in front of you drove away.
A lot of people came up from the south just to be able to get into the plants here to get a good paying job and provide for their families. If you got fired from one GM job one day, you could get up the next day and go to another GM plant and be hired the next morning.
Lots of good jobs in the auto industry. When that collapsed, Flint depopulated.
Well, Flint's a one industry town, and that industry has struggled for the last 20 years. We've lost tens of thousands of General Motors jobs, and along with that, we've lost workers who had a very, very robust and generous income.
The GM gravy train is slowing to a stop.
The 11 operations that are to be closed are the number 1 assembly line at the truck and bus plant in Flint.
We've seen layoffs before. This time, though, it's a whole different ballgame.
I got to tell you, they left our soil polluted, and quite frankly, they left a lot of our people polluted, you know, in their minds, you know, because they don't think they can do anything themselves, that they have to go and work for the man, if you will.
Steve and Gayla were raising their 3 children on that one GM income. Now they're making do with their unemployment.
We've heard recently that Buick City may close down for good.
We'd both kind of like to leave the state, but at this point, there's no way we can make a move. We can't sell our house. The money's just not there to make the move.
Too many people have been trapped in poverty, where they've been caught up in guns and drugs and violence, and you know, has struggled too with racial division, with class divisions, and we need to put a lot of that behind us.
We were, per capita, the richest city in America, and now we're the poorest.
Yeah, somebody just got shot at 2324 to 2 Road.
It was one emergency call in Flint, a city with so much crime and so few officers.
We didn't get in this situation because of a couple wrong decisions, and it's going to take a long time to work our way out of this.
You have to be careful not to get caught up in the nostalgia of what used to be. You know, at this particular time, I'm trying to make the best of that. I can't go back to those times.
There are going to be those moments where we don't have the force available that we would like. But more often than not, when you make a call to 911 and you have a high priority call, then our officer's able to be there within minutes.
As you know, someone who grew up in this city, I had the opportunity to come back to Flint. It was about how do we create solutions? How does that generation who didn't have that cushy edge of General Motors redefine who and what we are in Flint?
What we're trying to do is a systems change. We're trying to build up a small local economy that is place-based, that can't pick up and go somewhere else, which is what General Motors did here and why everybody has those skeletons in their closet.
You know, Jackie used to work at GM, as a matter of fact, and like he said, he used to build cars, and now we build character, we believe.
There you go. Now look at me. Look at me. I'm gonna hold that leg for you. I'm gonna hold that leg, yeah.
There's probably about 500 acres of land inside Flint that is potentially agricultural land that could be cultivated.
We call our farm Karatika, Harvesting Earth Farm. We have, not only vegetables, but we also have chickens. And we started by doing community service. Kids would come here and study martial arts.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So as they come in and study karate, we teach them farming because we associate them both together with self-defense, good eating and good self-defense and taking care of yourself.
I mean, it's good physical activity, it's excellent stress release. You know, all of those things work for our advantage as far as the workout goes in the martial arts training. But the food aspect of it took it a bit further with our self-defense thinking.
Jackie and Dora King, who, you know, they weren't growers when they started this.
Long ago, most martial artists were farmers. It was just something that we did, but I've always been a farmer in my heart.
We should get a record deal. The human beatbox. Human beatbox.
Oh, I think people like the Kings are pioneers.
I learn new stuff every time I'm around them.
I'm, to be honest, I'm blown away by the Kings.
It's a wonderful thing that the Kings are doing.
They're just like two of my heroes.
They're heroes.
The Kings, they just amazing.
We met 25 years ago, believe it or not, 25 years ago at a party in Clarkston.
I spotted her at a party, and I was free.
And we've been kind of partying together ever since. Ever since.
She had took a little karate. I take it from somewhere, and we talked a little karate talk, and I told her I had a shop and that type of thing.
I think I knew I liked Jackie right away. He was a cutie patootie. So, and he was the kind of guy that just stood out in the crowd, and he still does that. It wasn't long, and I was moving out of where I was and moving into Flint, so I'm talking just a few weeks. Oh, that's back in the day pictures.
And I was working for General Motors at the time. And she said, well, you seem to go to work mad, and you seem to come home mad. She said, well, what are you gonna do about that? I said, well, I really want to quit. Yeah, now get your hands up when you land back. Switch legs for me.
Wow, well, you know what, Jackie and I, we had it rough for a while because both of us quit our gigs. We both were working, and we started, you know, saying, well, we want to do this karate full time, because it had been a part-time thing for Jackie, so we decided we wanted to do it full time.
We had to live in the building that we had. There was no way I could operate my home and the business at the same, so she was willing to do that.
So it was really, you know, it was a rough, I don't know, year or so. You know, and I can remember Jackie and I walking down the sidewalk and seeing the people in their homes with their TVs going and their dinners around the tables, and we yearned for that again.
We had a karate building, but we didn't have access to the shower and that. So when we say homeless in that way, we would go to this barracks and we pay $3 a night. It was supposed to be per person. But we were so broke that we had convinced you at the desk that we both got to go up.
And then there was a time that we didn't have any place to stay too. That we've had our moments with our goat coat in a car, you know.
We slept in the car many day out on 59 at a
23.
hotel parking lot of a gas station.
We finally found this place here, and it was only this one piece of this building when we moved here. I'll never forget it. Her dad was coming down from West Virginia, and I'd never met him, you know, and he actually wore Spurs on his boots. So it was like that.
Was it 15 beans in
15 beans in here.
And before he passed away, he was like my dad. He left us enough money to put a foundation over there. And that's what we did. We put a new foundation in, dedicated that building to him. We all got together as karate students. We did all the work.
So it was a long time that people had been dumping on that property. So it took us a while to clean it, and in those couple years that we were cleaning it is when we developed the idea of having an urban farm.
But what we did as a unit and a team was we formed the gardening and the farming crew.
We just thought of it as another piece of our self-defense. You know, we may not, I could be lucky enough to go through my whole life and not have to kick and punch somebody off of me, a self-defense situation, but I'm always going to have to eat. Come over here, sugar pea.
Sit on my lap.
I hurt your lap, I sit on your lap.
And tell you a little bit about Edible Flint. So Edible Flint is a group that's been around for about a year now.
What is compost? Because they're going to ask you, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's August. Why do I have strawberries? What does that tell you about the strawberries? August. That it's a what kind of strawberry?
August strawberry.
No, that's a good guess, though.
We're a group of local residents, growers, and organizations that provide technical assistance.
Yeah. I'm looking for knees not bent. That person will be given a special prize of 25 push-ups. Bend your knees. I'm going to throw something at you. Turn. Yeah. Now you're talking. Turn.
Yeah. 7 o'clock, they shouldn't be too much longer.
And then while the people are coming, he might want to ask you some questions and stuff like that. Of course, they're going to ask you about harvesting earth, how you like it. You know you love it. We believe in martial arts because we on a mission. And what we're doing is we're taking back properties here in Flint that nobody wants. We're simply saying this used to be a dump. You can't grow land, guys, this is it. So we're telling our kids, you might not get the 40 acres and a mule, take the 0.4 acres and a bike. Test anything you want to, all these local vegetables. You can make a living growing vegetables. And it's legal, you can sell it to the police. This is our educational harvesting farm, this is where we teach at. This is one of our smaller areas.
She said those are called sun goals? These are called sun sugar. Sun sugar?
Yes.
We don't want no chemicals. If I can't feed my grandbabies, I don't want it.
Those chickens put up in a lot. Look at you holding that chicken.
You gonna tell me I can't have chickens in my neighborhood, but I can have a burnt out house down the street? I can have a drug house down the street? I can have a house irreproof down the street? But I can't have no chickens? I'll see you in court.
Take him home with us, Jay.
Glad to have you guys come to Harvesting Earth Educational Farm.
We found in our area in Beecher that poverty was all around us, and that as grown folks, we get the privilege of going outside our community. We get to go see other things, and we understand that that's not all there is to the world, is boarded up buildings and garbage and graffiti. Whereas our little people may not get that opportunity. Our young bloods were walking up and down the street, and that's all they were seeing is poverty and boarded up and graffitied and ugly and nasty. And what we decided was this farm was going to help us restore some hope.
That's where we got
All right.
It was about poverty and how poverty sucks the life out of people. And if that's all they ever see and all they ever come in contact with, you can understand how it can, you know, bend our mentality even. And that the sense of hope is the one inoculation that we have against poverty.
Oh, Jessica, it's your birthday, so we gon' party. We going to the crib and we getting hearty. We gon' eat some real good meat. I hope you have fun on your 17th.
Yeah, we at the Harvesting Earth Green Farm. Got potatoes and collard greens too. We about to go back to the hood and cook them though with some neck bones and some chicken bones. Yes. She's 17 ever. No, I'm done.
right now today is studio on the go, which I show kids how to write songs, how to compose their own music, how to record in the studio environment, how to engineer, and we produced our own CD. We get a finished CD at the end of it.
What I do, I like to just close my eyes and just feel the music inside of me. But it's kind of hard for me to write stuff sometimes because I got so many rhymes up in my head and stuff.
It's pretty cool when it comes out because it sounds good and you get your point across at the same time.
These young guys put together, they put a rap song together. And this rap song's kind of cool, and what was good about it is that the kids didn't know they were expected to do it. So it's not like they wrote these words, you know, months ahead of time. But I was thrilled that they were brave enough to do it and that they had enough courage to come up with what they had to say, put it in writing, and then to actually say it. And if we can share that with those guys right now, I'd appreciate it.
When I'm up there on the phone, I carry a couple of tools. I ain't talking about guns, just a shovel or two. It's a couple young dudes trying to make us some moves. I ain't talking about chess, but it's a king in the room. Only 17 could be out there selling that weed, but I got this J.O.B. trying to make me some green. Got a black belt just at a 2nd degree, but when I spit, it burns at a 3rd degree. It hurts from the sea, all the tragedies in Genesee County. So I met a man with a plan called urban farming. Bunch of young kids doing something positive, giving all we got to give for future generations. His name Master King, no it ain't a plantation. All it takes is a dream, just look at Jackie King. Harvest the earth, planting and growing seeds. You see our green shirts, the bright busters on the scene.
I don't know, every time when I used to think of farm, it used to be like a bunch of older people just going out riding on tractors and cleaning pigs and stuff. Like, I never really thought like that'd be me, but it's not. It's actually fun once you get to learn about it and learn new things. It's a great experience.
I think it's going to take more than urban farming to turn Flint around, but I think it's a really good start.
I think it's going to help bring in some more businesses for Flint. A lot of new jobs people have more jobs and stuff like that. It's going to be more vegetables.
Because farming your own food is cheaper and it's healthier than like getting your food shipped all the way from California or Florida or somewhere. So,
let alone the other countries.
Yeah.
That's great. You gonna catch it?
I'm just telling you about these guys and how they approach the farming and how they do it. They know whose farm this is. Ain't no way I can take this with me. When they put my little old body in the casket, what am I gonna do? Take all this and put it in there with me? No, it's theirs.
Greens, onions, peppers, potatoes, tomatoes, different other things.
He was harvesting potatoes, and one of our guys came over and said, "No way do potatoes come out of the ground," you know? And he was like, "There's just no way." And he said, "Yeah, where did you think they came from, you know?" And this young blood said, "From a potato tree." So that young blood got to harvest 300 feet of potatoes that weekend, so I don't think he's ever gonna forget where those potatoes come from.
We just tell the kids you just have to work hard. You have to believe in yourself. You have to feel you worthy. You have to feel that there is hope, and there is hope in this community. But when you get up every morning and you look at a vacant lot and it's a dump, and you go down the street and there's another dump, I mean, half the street is gutted out. You're on your way to school. It plays havoc on the mind. You take that same place, you fix it up, put some flowers out there, it brings that hope back. This is gonna happen in Genesee County. Now that we have this vacant land, we're gonna take that vacant land and we're gonna make green spaces out of it, we're gonna raise food out of it, and we're gonna sell food within our community, and I vision that this will be the #1 hub for urban farming in the United States in the next 10 years.
I just like, planting food, like producing organic food for people. It's better than what we get at the restaurants and all the stores, because we don't know where it's coming from. But we know this is being grown right here. We're not putting no chemicals or nothing on it.
It takes funding, it takes money. We were fortunate enough to get tied in with Ruth Mott Foundation. And Ruth Mott Foundation was kind enough to give us a grant, a nice grant to get started, to get the things we needed to get to this level.
What happened at King's Karate, this was, this wasn't just removing the trash from the site. This was removing the trash from the site.
That was actually 20 years of dumping.
And then removing the trash from the site.
And it took us 2 years to clean it off.
And then removing the trash from the site. And then tilling in organic soil and growing cover crops and all this stuff.
The piece of property that has a greenhouse on it was, you know, we had 4 gondolas of garbage we took off of. They had dumped on that place for decades, and this is according to the neighbors that have lived there 40 years and have told us, you know, all I got to see for the last 20 years was junk, you know, and it was so bad and for so long, even one of the big trees had a tire inside of it.
Hundreds, thousands of good-paying jobs, those are gone. Something needs to be done in Flint, something new has to be tried. Why not try urban farming?
They are doing a great job. I don't see any shoes hanging from the tennis shoes hanging from the wires over there. It means they are doing something right.
Yes, that's right.
In the summer, if you come over here, there are lots of young people working over here. Okay, they need to work because I need to go in Social Security soon. Thank you.
And this is exactly what we wanted to fund with this program at Ford. So with that, let me do the classic.
Oh boy.
Check. This is a check for $50,000.
Oh, that was a $50,000 check that was well needed here at Harvesting Earth Farm. But more important, it was the partnership with Ford. They've promised us that this was just their first time coming out. They want to become a part of Genesee County. This thing is too heavy to hold by myself. We're actually going to put in geothermal in the hoop house. That's going to bring our temperature up about 5 degrees. And the idea is to get about 6 to 8 weeks ahead of the regular outside growers. And this is what the hoop house brings to play.
Ever since they put up the hoop house, we've been up here and have done several stories and have seen the project expand, you know, add the geothermal heating and grow bigger and bigger.
In another 2 years, we want to be self-sufficient. We don't want to have to go and ask for the grant dollar. We feel that we'll be able to do what we have to do, and Ruth Mott has been real kind to us, and they look at what we're doing. They won't let you move so fast that you'll get off track, but they won't slow you down. And that's why we really like them as a partner. Because they're looking out for us as well as themselves. And they feel that we're doing the same thing. We don't want to get funding from a funder and can't use it, or we don't want to abuse it. We want to make it work. And they promised us that they'll stick with us if we stick with the project.
I don't have any problem with folks doing some urban gardening with some hoop houses, but I think it's important to put it in perspective that that's about 5% of the solution that we need for jobs and economic development in this city.
What 5% have they brought? I haven't seen 5% brought from City Hall in a long time. All I hear is that every idea that someone else has won't work.
But don't kick the folks in the teeth that got 5%. Where's your 5%? What you bringing to the party?
A lonesome train, on a lonesome train.
I don't put a whole lot of stock in that percentage. I think if we had 5 to 10% local food that was produced within this county as a starting point, that would be great.
So why not allow that piece of the solution and go out and look for another piece of the solution, another piece, another piece. And like I said, you look up and you've got the whole puzzle done instead of poo-pooing about where you only got one piece of the puzzle, you know?
That may only be 5% of the economy, but in fact may be more than 5% of the public health benefits, and maybe more than 5% of the land use strategies, and maybe more than 5% of Flint's contribution to reducing global warming. So there's a whole lot of other pieces to the equation besides the economic development piece.
Food is a $1 billion venture in Genesee County. We spend $1 billion on food every year. You know, 900 to 940 million of those hard-earned dollars float right out of the county, right? So we're trying to say, you know, you buy from me, I buy from you, you buy from the pharmacist who's also local, and then we have a multiplier effect in our economy. You know, that 5% is really a heck of a lot more meaningful if we can really actualize it.
It's good.
You have the kids now selling their own food that they grow. And now that's another aspect, because now you're talking about kids making money, and then the money staying within your community.
Sustainable agriculture inside the city of Flint is an important part of the portfolio of where Michigan needs to go for a sustainable economy in the 21st century.
If you can tap into that market with locally produced food, then you have this, this web of purchasing that makes a larger difference than, I think, 5%.
What's so good about Flint is that you've got some people here that realize we're sitting on a gold mine, and we're going to prospect it. And that's the good part. And as we deal with the mayors and the other city managers around Michigan, they're starting to see it too. It's not save all for everybody. It's not going to save the world through urban farming, but it's going to save a whole lot of people.
Yeah! 16 and got a job in the reception, absolutely, yeah. I got some blessings working on the farm, no need for alarm to the environment. Yeah, we do no harm, it's the way of the future. An urban farm, some of us in karate, twisting people's arms. We harvest earth and plants too, we give birth, making the world a better place. We gotta start small, but in the end, we gon' change it all. Yeah, we steady busting some blight, it's our world, and we ain't giving it up without a fight. So the ones selling drugs in the hood, go fly a kite, cause the king's coming with a new kind of might in our future. Yeah, it's sure shining bright. Yeah, I hurt cause I know while I'm out in the shed working with my hammer, my kids out selling rocks, getting thrown in the slammer jacks.
It's our time, it's our time.